Hello, Conroe ISD. Welcome to our February 21st, 3 p.m. live update. Appreciate you all joining us today. We've taken this opportunity just to come to you live so we can provide to you the most up-to-date information. We knew that if we tried to draft this in an email, it could become too long and lengthy, and it may not be the best way for you to consume it. So we thank you for taking a few minutes today to join us. We'll try to keep this moving and keep it fairly fast. I hope that tonight's message finds you all in a place where you're healthy and safe, that you have power. Hopefully you have water back at this point, and I know many in our community still don't have that. I think for us there's this physical weight that we've been carrying through all of this, but also this mental tiredness. I believe I can speak for all of us when I say we are tired of having a once-in-a-lifetime event happen to us every 4 to 6 months. It just seems like it's more than we should have to bear. And I know for many in our community, this past week has been very difficult with a range of impacts, depending upon where you may live to the resources that you may have available to you. At the very least, we've been all very inconvenienced and put our schedules really affected. But that's really the minimum. The range is so great to people that have been displaced and their homes have been destroyed. And unfortunately, heartbreak and tragedy has come to our community during this past week as well. And I'm not capable today of being able to move forward in this conversation without properly paying respects to the family of one of our very own Conroe ISD students, Christian Pavone. You may have seen his story, and I'm not going to go through his story today because I know we have a variety of people in our audience, but you have seen it not only in local but national news, and that is a Conroe ISD student. That's a Conroe ISD family. He is one of us, and they are as well. And so before we can move forward today, I want to pay proper respect, and I'm going to ask that we take a moment, and we take a moment to not only reflect for that family, but let us take a moment to be reflective today on all that has occurred and everyone that's been affected, and not just on what we've lost or what we've suffered, but also what we have and what we are appreciative for. But in a special way as well, I ask that you would consider Christian's family, and let us just take a moment here of silence to help us to really redirect our thoughts onto others. Thank you for that, and I appreciate you joining me in that. It's just something that I felt is very important for us, and we've had a focus in Conroe ISD over the last few years on mental health, and I think really now more than ever as we continue to pile these, like I said, once in a lifetime occurrences on top of each other, I worry about our mental health, not only of our children but of our community as a whole. We all have to learn to cope and deal with these things and work through them. And I wanted to share some tips with you today from PBS Kids. And they're really focused on children, but I think that they really can apply to all of us as we focus on mental health. And I'm going to run through this list fairly quickly. We're going to put the words up on the screen so that you can see them as well. But these are tips on how to deal with these events with your children to help you and your family work through them. And I say that they are focused on smaller children, but I'll share with number one right on the list here. Limit the amount of time that you're on TV, watching the news and social media, consuming all of this information. And even in my house, I've shared with you before, my daughter is a senior, so she's not a young child, but I didn't realize the impact of this one until just 2 or 3 days ago. In my own house, my daughter said, I'm going to be happy when this is over so we can turn the news off in this house. Like, I've had enough of it always being on. And it made me stop because, I have the news on all the time because I'm not only worried about our home and keeping it safe, but I'm worried about school and do we cancel school and all these things. So I hyper consume all of this information without ever taking the time as a dad to realize the impact that it's having in my own household. So that is a good reminder for us all, I think. Keep yourself calm, knowing that the emotions that you put out are going to be the emotions that feed into your children, and they will be fed back as well. Give your child extra physical attention, be it hugs or whatever you can do, reading a book, going out, throwing a ball. Just spending that extra physical time will benefit your children. It helps with them, but I will tell you, speaking as a parent, I think we probably gain more of that back than even the children do. Plan something with your child that you both enjoy doing. Get out, like I said, get outside. Here we are today, just a few days removed from some horrible weather, but we have nice weather this afternoon, and I'm going to try to be quick here so that you can get back out and spend time with your children. Even if your children don't talk about what they've heard on the news, they've heard things on the news, I can assure you, especially in today's social media world. As much as we may all try to protect our children, they get information and it all flies at them. And so take that time to talk through it with them to make sure that they truly understand what they're seeing. And the reality is, in some of these situations, we as adults can't even understand why or what we're seeing. But it's important that we can have those conversations with our kids. One of the other things that really helps is letting your child know that you're doing something about it, whatever that may be. Making a donation, volunteering your time, taking the time to write an email thanking someone that is doing the work, whatever it may be. The act of doing that certainly is very important, but also sharing in that act with your child so that they see you doing that. They see that you are in control of the situation, even when we may not be fully in control of the situation, that you are seizing control. And I would tell you that as we prepared for this, we sent out that link. It said, if you have questions, send them in. Perhaps the most common comment that came in as we prepared for this tonight was, how can I help other people? Please tell us tonight how we can help others. And that is a testament to our wonderful community, and thank you for that being on your heart as we move forward. And the last two, I think maybe the most important to me, especially in this situation that we're currently in. This next one comes directly from Fred Rogers. You all remember Mr. Rogers from our childhoods growing up, and he shared a story that when he would see things on the news and he would make him scared and nervous as a child, his mother would always say to him, look for the helpers. In any bad situation, there are always those people out there that are working so hard to help others. And sometimes the news doesn't always focus on that. They get lost on the outside of the screen, but those people are always present. And I can tell you in this current situation, those people are everywhere. You see them out handing out water. You see our nurses and doctors that have been going to work every single day fighting through the worst weather to get to their jobs. You see our local food banks that are providing food out to the community. Even within our Conroe ISD family, you see our maintenance and custodial staff who have been at work in our buildings every waking moment since as soon as it was safe for them to drive to do so, to make sure that our buildings were safe, to make sure that we could be ready to go to school. And as I drove around today, I went out and saw a crew that was working on one of our schools here doing the plumbing. Here in this very own building, they were working on plumbing. A custodial crew just came through about 30 minutes ago, e-misting this building so that it would be safe and ready for our employees to return. There are all these people that are out there making a difference. And so we thank you for that. And one of the things that I'll mention is the food bank. Let me circle to that food bank here real quickly. You asked, how can we help? Well, one of the things that you could do is donate to the Montgomery County Food Bank. It's a great organization. So if you want to make donations, you're looking for a way to give to others, the food bank is a great place to do that. It's all going to stay here locally, and it makes a huge impact. Now, if you're in need, the food bank, once again, is a great place to go. You can see on your screen now the website for the Montgomery County Food Bank, and there's the mobile market schedule, and that is always live and active. So we took a screenshot of that earlier today. It could have already changed. They may have already added new events to the mobile market schedule. But if you are in need, please try to get to this website. If you can't get to the website, call our school. We'll go on the website for you and call any of our schools or central office. We'll go on for you and we'll read it to you to try to help you find what you need. But if they add new events, they'll be added on that site, and so we want you to keep up with that. But the food bank is a great place that you can help. Also, as we begin to gather more and more of the needs of our community, we may come back to you in the future to say, hey, if you are interested in making donations, these are needs that we're seeing in the community. We don't quite have that list ready yet, but we know that there are so many of you out there that want to know that information. We will make sure to bring it to you. And then also our campuses are ready to fill this role of being helpers, right? We have so many resources in our buildings. Some of it is just people, right? It's just being there, a smiling face, someone to love on the child. But we also have other resources that maybe aren't so readily available right now in the community, like water and showers and washing machines. Those are resources that we want to make available to the community as well, so that we can be helpers and we can do our part to help our community recover. And then that final tip that's on that list is try to keep regular routines, right? Children and adults need regular routines. That it's part of what keeps us moving forward. It's what helps us feel like things are normal. And we recognize our role in that, not just for kids, but for our community. When we are in school, things feel normal, right? Daycares are open. Office buildings are open because people can go to work. Insurance offices can be open because the people that work in those offices, children can be at school or at daycare so they can go to work. The Home Depot and Lowe's, all those places that we need people to be able to go to work, they all happen when we can get back to normal. We understand our role as a school district in getting our community back up on its feet as fast as we can. So knowing that, seeing this list of what's important in the mental health of children, knowing the resources that are needed out there in the community, that is the drivers of our decision to open our schools tomorrow. Our schools are safe, they all have power, they all have water, they all have food. And I know there are many people in our community that don't have those things at home. And so you are counting on us to be there for you. You need us today, and we want to be there for you. And so while we know everyone will not be able to make it, we understand that. Some of you are not in a position to be able to come to school tomorrow, and we respect that completely. And I'm speaking to students and families, but I'm also speaking to employees. Some of you may not be in a position yet to come to school, and we will support you in that, and we understand completely. But we can't deny the opportunity for those students that are sitting right now in a home that doesn't have water, that doesn't have food. We can't deny them this opportunity to come to school tomorrow when those of us that can be present will be present to make sure that they're well taken care of. So we felt like what we put out there made it clear that our plan was to be open tomorrow, but if it wasn't clear yet, and that's the only reason you're logged in today, just to make it clear, we will be open for school tomorrow. Now, I do not anticipate that we're going to be perfect tomorrow. Okay, I'm sure that we are going to have many employees that will need to be out to tend to their business as they're waiting for plumbers and adjusters, but those of us that can be there, we will be. But we're going to ask for grace, and grace needs to go both ways, and we understand that, and that's a conversation that we've had multiple times with our principals. While we're going to ask that you understand that we won't be perfect tomorrow, we also understand that you may be coming to us from a very imperfect position at home as well. So we've asked that all due dates, all test dates, any of those deadlines be pushed back so that we can help support you, knowing that you haven't had time to do all of those things over these last few weeks. So we've made that effort to have all of those things pushed back. I've also instructed our principals to help make our resources available to you in the community. So if you have needs, I encourage you to reach out directly to your principal in your community. For those of you that are employees, reach out to your principal, reach out to your supervisor, and share those needs, because if we can make things better for you, that's what we want to do. But we know that we can't use our resources completely when we're not present. We need to be present in our buildings. And so our principals have been authorized to whatever it may be it using washing machines in our buildings, showers in our buildings, simply having water hoses available outside that we can help fill up buckets of water for those of you that are still struggling with wells that aren't working. How can we bring that to you? We want to do that. We want to be part of the solution for you and your family. Now, this is not an easy decision that we make. It's never an easy decision when we make a decision to open schools or close schools, and it's always controversial. And ultimately, I will tell you that decision falls to me. So anyone that may agree or disagree with the decision, it's my decision that you agree or disagree with. And for those of you that are still in a place where you're really hurting, I can understand you may think, well, he's not even taking into consideration all of the things that we need. And I would tell you it's completely the opposite of that. We can't help if we're not present. And so we want to be in the buildings and make all of our resources available to you. We want the world to get back to normal for you as quickly as possible. And for us to be able to do that, it's going to school. Knowing that, once again, parents, you'll ultimately make the decision for your children. If it's not right for them to come to school tomorrow, that'll be an excused absence. Employees, the same thing. If you must call in tomorrow, we understand that. We want to support you in that. So know that that we want to do it right, but ultimately we have to make this decision what's best for the entire community. And as the person that makes the decision, I could not, in good conscience and in good faith, know that we have these big buildings throughout our community that are safe, they have power, they have water, and they have food, and not open those doors to kids that need them that need all of those things desperately. I just could not do that. And so I make no judgment on any other districts. Everyone is in a different situation around us and throughout the Houston area. We are fortunate to be in a place where our buildings are in good shape. Other districts may not be. So this is simply a decision that is made what's best for us and our community. Now, some of you I know like a little more detail about decision making, and there's always a question that comes up like, oh, this is just driven by money. They're just making a money decision. And I will tell you, this is completely the opposite of a money decision. If we were worried about funding, the surefire way to maximize our funding in this situation would be to have our schools closed. So having schools open tomorrow has the potential of actually costing us money, not helping us make more money. But that's not what this is about. This is about taking care of our community and taking care of our kids. Our school board has done a wonderful job of having a good savings account for our school district. And this is one of those opportunities where we shouldn't be making a decision based on money. We should be making a decision based on what's best for kids. And because of our great school board, we're in a position to do that. So that's what we're doing. Now, we also want to give you an update on all the schools. Like I said, some of you like more details than others. So let me share with you more details about our schools. And this is an update that I got this afternoon from our operations crew. I'm just going to refer to my notes if I can, but I've already hit a few of these along the way. In Conroe ISD, all of our schools have power. Okay? All of our schools have water. So we have no schools in Conroe ISD that do not have power or do not have water. We have only one school right now that is under a boil water notice. That is Snyder Elementary School. We have already deployed and have in place drinking water and cooking water at Snyder. So we are in perfect shape there. There'll be no issues. Students will have plenty of water to drink. We'll be able to run our kitchen appropriately. And like I said, they do have regular water, so toiletry won't be an issue. All of our water wells and wastewater plants that we operate as Conroe ISD are up and functioning. And all three of those things are something that we should all celebrate as a community. There was a lot of proactive work that went in from our maintenance and custodial team to put us in a good position before this storm ever happened. There's been an investment in our infrastructure over time to make sure that we had quality materials in place. And then like I said, from the moment it's been safe to move, these folks have been working, including all day yesterday and all day today, to make sure that our buildings are up and running. So we're thankful to them. On the child nutrition front, all of our campuses have enough food for 3 days in inventory currently. So we are fully stocked in our kitchens, and we're due to get our next delivery on Wednesday. We expect that to come with no problem. So we are fully stocked in food. And I've had some people reach out to me and they said, well, I'm not sure if we should open schools or not because our community doesn't have water and we don't have food. And I will tell you that's exactly why we're going to open your school. because you can send your child to school and know that they are going to get food and they will have water. And I'll remind everyone, lunch and breakfast are free for all students this year. So even if you don't typically buy your lunch at school or get lunch at school, you typically would maybe pack a lunch for your child at school, but right now the grocery store maybe is not fully stocked and you can't get there. Know that we can provide breakfast and lunch to your child this week and for the rest of the year, for that matter. Every single cafeteria kitchen has been visited by the manager. We know that they're functional. They are up and running. So we have checked every one of them out. And curbside meals will resume on Tuesday as usual. On the transportation front, we have gone out, we have started every one of our school buses and repaired those that needed repair from the cold weather. So we know that our fleet is up and ready to run tomorrow. Technology side, all of our buildings, hardware and software are up and running. So everything should be functional, fully functional tomorrow. On the custodial side, all of our schools have been e-misted. By the end of the day today, they will have all been e-misted once again, so that we know, COVID is not gone. So we'll know that tomorrow students are walking into clean, sanitized, ready to attend buildings. Once again, we've delivered the drinking water to Snyder that's needed, and we have all of our grounds crews on standby. Just in case we have any water issues anywhere else, we'll be able to get water as needed. And that's not something new for us. In a place as big as we are with as many schools, we have the occasional water outage that happens, and we're able to bring in water at a moment's notice. We can flush toilets with the water. We can bring in drinking water. We're ready to make that happen, but right now we have water throughout the district, so that won't be an issue. Really the biggest place that had maybe the most significant damage was at York Junior High down in the Grand Oaks feeder. Just had a water pipe bust in a locker room near a gym. And so the gym floor, it's a wood floor, so we're going to need to do some work on that. It may take a few weeks to get that back up and usable. But beyond that, our buildings should be up and running. There may be occasionally like one wing of an elementary or maybe one bathroom in an elementary that is not quite functioning, so we would just close that one. But all the rest will be up and running. All of our buildings are functional. The final piece that was happening today was HVAC systems. That's the crew that I saw today across the street from here at Conroe High was working on an HVAC system, and they were confident it was going to be fixed. And we had a few other places they were working today to get them fixed. But they'll all be up and running tomorrow, and it's really a great thing. So we're appreciative of that, that we can make that happen. Also, just a reminder that we have, if you're in the Conroe area, we've been planning for months and months a reroute of traffic at Conroe High School, which can really change the way people move around in the city of Conroe down Highway 105. I know that the campus has emailed out today the map to remind you it was supposed to start last week, but now here we are. We'll start it again tomorrow, so hopefully you'll have that chance to take a look at that and know that the traffic patterns will change. So just in summary here, we're excited to be back tomorrow. We want to be a part of the solution and the healing within our community. For those of you that aren't able to be there, please know that we understand that. We want to be here to help you. So if there's anything we can do to help, please reach out to us. Our counselors are ready to not only handle getting you tied into any resources, but also any mental health help that we can give you. We've provided them a lot of those resources as well. So we're ready to be there. We're ready to help you. We're ready to have school tomorrow. If you aren't able to make it, once again, we understand that completely. It's a choice that you ultimately make in this situation, but we want to be there for those that need us. Looking at our notes, let's see. Questions. Curbside meal distribution is scheduled to resume on Tuesday. So if you typically pick up curbside meals, that'll happen on Tuesday. And when I say we are open tomorrow, we are open both in person. We are also open for our remote students. So we welcome you back. Some of you may be in a situation where your internet is not back fully functional. And if that's the case, once again, communicate that to your school. You might need to be absent tomorrow from your remote learning if you're unable to have internet access, and those are all things that we will work through. But once again, we understand grace is a two-way street, right? And so we're going to ask you to give us grace, as we won't be perfect. We understand you won't be as well. We're all going to work through this together to make it happen for our community. As we get more information on how you can help, we will bring that forward to you maybe via email, or it may come directly through your schools. So we might just share that directly with PTOs, and they can put that information out for you as well if you have questions. Any information that you need, please reach out directly to your principal or employees, directly to your supervisor. It's the most efficient and effective way that we can communicate through one of these situations. I wish you all a wonderful afternoon. Thank you for taking time out of your Sunday to join us. I hope that you can spend a little more family time, maybe get outside, enjoy this weather this afternoon, and we'll look forward to welcoming you all back tomorrow, and we'll see you at school. Thank you.